Okay, everyone, let's talk about one-way ANOVA. I want to ask you this question. Is self-esteem beneficial? I think most of people will say, yeah, of course, it's really important. It's really beneficial. Let's take a look at this study. It's from the textbook, so you can look it up. In this study, they have students of D's and F's in their midterm, randomly divided into three groups. Okay, the first group is control. They will receive the email providing them a review question, kind of like study guide, right? The second one is a self-esteem group. So they receive the questions plus the self-esteem bolstering message like, oh, you are the, you know, unique, you are good, things like that. And then, excuse me. Number three is a responsibility group. They receive questions plus encouragement to take responsibility for their learning. And then the dependent variable is the grades on the final. Okay. After analysis, let me ask you, guess which group got the lowest final grade? If you're like most of my face-to-face students, you probably will guess it's the control group. Um, Actually, it's a self-esteem group. Yep. In other words, building self-esteem backfired. And I just want to say something. A lot of students. I mean, this nation is pretty much becoming this narcissistic nation. We care for students' self-esteem, children's self-esteem. So everybody, as long as they participate, they got a prize. This is not beneficial because this suggests to our kids that as long as I'm present, I'm there. Without effort, I'm entitled for all the prizes. Okay, so students. I mean, I see some college students. They feel so entitled, and they are talented. I mean, they're so smart, but they just don't apply themselves, and they expect the good grades. I have students telling me, I got a C or D. This is unacceptable. Are you kidding me? Right? This is because of you. Don't put that effort. So until they graduate, they get into society, get a job, and then they realize, hey, the world is not what I used to be. And people don't give them prizes. I mean, on the silver platter. Um, that is a painful awakening. So, oh no, it's just effort. Only effort will take you somewhere. All right. Talent doesn't. Talent doesn't count. It's not going to get you anywhere. Yeah. But enough of complaining. Okay. Now we have three groups. Remember when we talk about t-test? T-test is only for two groups. If we have three groups, then how do we find out which group is like more or less, right? Three groups in this case. What test do we use? A lot of people will say, well, how about this? If for the question, are there any differences among these conditions? Okay, how about t-test? Let's do it three times, right? Three comparisons. So first, we compare control versus self-esteem. And then control versus responsibility and self-esteem versus responsibility, right? And by that, we'll find out, well, which one is more, which one is less. Well, that sounds reasonable, but the problem is this increases the chance for type 1 error for type 1 error. In other words, it will be more likely for us to find something significant just due to chance. Okay? There are two ways of calculating this type 1 error. If we make three comparison, it's kind of like 0.05. You see, I mean, silicon level, alpha level usually is 0.05, right? So you times three times because we have three comparison. Now we have 15% chance for committing type 1 error. In your book, they provide this way of calculation. So 0.95 to the third power. That's about the same, 15% chance. All in all, type 1 error chance increases, and we don't want that. So, in order to avoid this type 1 error increases problem, we use a new analysis called one-way ANOVA. ANOVA is actually analysis of variance. Okay, and the statistic is F. And F is the ratio between within group variance and between group variance. Okay, so between group variance is the difference among the means. In other words, if you have three groups, right? Control, self-esteem, and responsibility. We calculate the group means and then compare the means. That's between group. And remember, each condition we have different people. Okay, that's between group. But within group is the difference is with each of the sample distribution. In other words, the control group, the variance within this control group. The variance between within this self-esteem group and responsibility group. Okay, if the ratio, okay, the F statistic is more than 1, it has to be significant more than 1. Okay, then we say the sample means are different from one another. That suggests them are significantly different. But if the ratio is 1, that means no significant difference because the variance is equal. Between group and within group equal, that's pretty much non-significant. But do note that F value, this F value statistics can be much less than 1, of course. But if it is equals to 1, it's not significant. Okay, not to mention less than 1. That's even not more non-significant. Okay, so it has to be much bigger than 1 in order to be significant. Okay. Now the assumption for ANOVA is first, of course, a random sampling. You should know what random sampling is. Okay, normally distributed data. All the statistics have this assumption. Data from one or more normally distributed populations. And then finally, population variance are equal. Okay, homogeneity of the variance. And please, again, remember this word, homogeneity. If I just mention homogeneity, you know that means population variances are equal. Okay, the variance should be the same throughout the data.